All of you must have received a notice related to form fill up, right? All of you have noticed or not? All of you have received the notice? Form fill up
Yes,
notice?
ma'am.
Yes. Do try to fill the form in due time, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Is there any confusion regarding form fill up? Then you can ask. And if there is no confusion, then all of you can fill up the form. Do it within the due time. Without wasting time, I'm just sharing my screen. All of you able to view my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wait. Today we will learn about hypertext transfer protocol. All of you aware about hypertext transfer protocol? What is HTTP? Where HTTP is used? If any one of you have any knowledge, share it with me. Hypertext transfer protocol. Have you ever heard the name hypertext transfer protocol? It is an application layer protocol for distributed, collaborative, hypermedia information system. Hypertext transfer protocol. Certain protocols, certain rules are present, certain rules are there which need to follow whenever there is an exchange of data over net. HTTP is the set of rules for transferring files such as text, graphic, images, sound, video, and other multimedia file on the World Wide Web. As soon as web user opens their web browser, the user is indirectly making use of HTTP. HTTP is an application layer protocol that runs on the top of TCP/IP suite of protocol. I think all of you remember different layers of different layers of TCP/IP protocol. The latest version of HTTP is HTTP2, which was published in the year 2015. As the hypertext part of the name implies, HTTP concepts include the idea that files can contain references to other files whose selection will prompt additional transfer request. In addition to the web page files it can serve. Any web server machine contains an HTTP. So each and every web server machine contains HTTP. I am sharing my whiteboard. I want to draw something. How HTTP works. Suppose this is a computer and it is connected to the machine is connected to internet and wait, and with internet different servers. One is web server, web server. Then there is another type of server which can be referred to as video server. Again, there is one more type which is message server. These are different types of servers which are attached with internet. Okay. So this is the way how HTTP work. If we to explain this example, suppose a user want to visit a website, the user types in web address and the computer sends, what does the computer sends? The computer sends a GET request to a server that hosts that address. The GET request is sent using HTTP and it is telling the tech target server that the user is looking for the HTML code used to structure and give the login page its looks and feel. So the text of the login page is included in the HTML response, but other parts of page, particularly its images and videos, are requested by separate HTTP requests and responses. The more requests that must be made, for example, to call a page that has numerous images, the longer it will take the server to respond to those requests and for the user system to load the page. This is the concept of HTTP. Okay. So with these requests and responses are sent, they use TCP/IP to reduce and transport information in small packets of binary sequence of ones and zeros. Therefore, packets are physically sent through electric wire, fiber optic cables, and wireless networks. Now, I'm again returning to the site. HTTP was introduced by Tim Berners-Lee at CERN. CERN is a famous company. HTTP functions as a request response protocol in the client-server computing model. The client submits an HTTP request message to the server. The server, which provides resources such as HTML file and other content, or performs other functions on behalf of the client, returns a response message to the client. The response contains completion status information about the request and may also contain requested contents in its message body. HTTP is an application layer protocol which commonly uses TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. Connectivity. HTTP does not handle network connectivity or how information is transmitted. DNS protocol helps client to connect with requested server. Application layer does important work like web browsing or file transferring. The server responds to client request without knowing anything about client. Each request requires separate TCP network. So whenever there is a request, it requires separate TCP networks. Request methods, HTTP 1.0, the original version contained three methods: get, post, and head. These are the three types of methods that are available. HTTPS, I want to ask one question. Does any one of you can tell me the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? What is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? Anyone who can tell? Okay, so if no one know, I will explain. HTTPS is HTTP over SSL or HTTP secure, is the use of secure socket layer or transport layer security as a sublayer under regular HTTP application layering. HTTPS encrypts and decrypts user HTTP page request as well as the pages that are returned by the web server. The use of HTTPS protect against eavesdropping and man-in-the-middle attack. HTTPS was developed by Netscape. This is the difference between HTTPS and HTTP. Migrating from HTTP to HTTPS is regarded as good security. Request methods. There are three types of request methods: get, post, and head. The get methods request a representation of specified resource. Request using get should only retrieve data and should have no other effects. Post, the post method requests that the server accept the entity enclosed in the request as a new subordinate of the web resource identified by URL. Head, the head method asks for a response identical to that of get request, but without the response body. So this is useful for retrieving meta information written in response headers without having to transport the entire content. This is the significance of head method. So there are three kinds of request method: get, post, and head. Request method, this is for HTTP 1.1 which is considered as reversion of 1.0. Here 5 new methods are added: put, delete, trace, option, and connect. So these are 5 new methods. Put, I have just explained. Put method requests the enclosed entity be stored under the supplied URL. This is not URI, this is URL. I suppose everyone know what is URL. The delete method deletes the specified resource, and the trace method echoes the retrieved request so that a client can see what changes or additions have been made by intermediate servers. These are other request method options and correct. This can be used to check the functionality of a web server by requesting asterisks instead of a specific resource. Connect. The connect method converts the request connection to a transparent TCP/IP. HTTP persistent connection. What is persistent connection? Persistent is keep alive connection, or we can say the connection which we can reuse. The HTTP pre-consistent connection, also called HTTP keep alive or HTTP connection reuse, is the idea of using a single TCP connection to send and receive multiple HTTP requests and responses. Persistent connections stay open across transactions until either the client or the server decides to close them. Till the server decides to close it, the persistent connections stay open across transactions. Multiple connection and persistent connection. Client and server. See, this is the difference. In multiple connection and persistent connection. In multiple connection, we have to open and close. Open and close. We have to do this process, which is considered as overhead repeatedly. Whereas in persistent connection, only one open, and after all the work is finished, the transmission is done successful, it is closed. So this is the difference between multiple connection and persistent connection. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Have anybody heard about different types of status code? Okay, we will go to status code after we look into the advantages and disadvantages. Lower CPU and memory usage, because fewer connections are open simultaneously. So there is lower CPU and memory usage. It enables HTTP pipelining of requests and responses. Reduced network congestion, that means there is fewer TCP connection. Reduce latency in subsequent request. It means no handshaking. Errors can be reported without the penalty of closing the TCP connection. So errors are reported without the penalty. It means TCP connection is not closed, but the errors are reported. Okay. What disadvantage? If the client does not close the connection when all of the data it needs has been received, then the server will be unavailable for other client. So this is one of the disadvantage, that if the client doesn't close the connection it needs has been received, then the server will remain unavailable because the connection is not closed. Okay. Non-persistent connection. What is non-persistent connection? HTTP non-persistent connection is the idea of using a multiple TCP connection to send and receive each HTTP requests or responses. Each object transfer suffer from low start. It is similar to being stateless. Non-persistent connection can be compared, or it has similarity to being stateless. Now let us, I'm sharing my whiteboard, I'm clearing, then I will write different type of HTTPS code, different types of HTTP code. What are different types of HTTP code? In response to HTTP request, server often issue response code indicating that the request is being processed, that there was an error in the request, or that the request is being redirected. So common response coded, what are the common response code? Let me draw different types of response code that are available. First one is 200. Okay, this is one of the HTTP code. What does it means? This means that the requests such as get or post work and it is being acted upon. It means the get and post, earlier you have seen those methods get and post, so they work and is being acted upon. What is the next code? Next code is next code. Next code is 300 moved permanently. This is 300 moved permanently. This is another code which is considered as HTTP code. This response code means that the URL of the requested resource have been changed permanently. Now another code, another HTTP code is 401 unauthorized. Unauthorized. This is 401 unauthorized. What does it means? The client, the user making the request of the server has not been authenticated. Now, next one. Sorry. What is the next code? Next code is, let me draw a box. Net is 403 forbidden. This is another code. The client's identity is known but has not been given access to authorization. So this is 403 forbidden. Next is, which is next? There are some more code. Next code is, I think this code all of you have seen. This is a very common code. 404, wait, 404 not found. This is another code. What is the meaning of 404 not found? This is the most frequent and most recognized error code. It means that the URL is not recognized or the resource at the location does not exist. Okay. The 500 internal server error. What is that? 500 internal server error. The server has encouraged a situation. Let me write this. Let me draw. Wait, 500 internal server error. What is this error? 500 internal server error. The server has encountered a situation and the server know how to handle this problem. So this is the internal server error. Okay, so these are the types of error that are encountered by the HTTP code. If there is any questions, then you can ask. Else, I will close my whiteboard. Is there any question regarding anything? So no questions. Let us go back. One thing I want to, no, let me again clear the drawing and I want to again write something. HTTP message format. What is HTTP message format? It is a request method which consists of several fields. What are the fields? Let me write. These fields are: first, a request line. A request line which requests a resource from the server. Second is request header fields. Request header fields, it is a type of a request which is submitted. Then third is an empty line. It is just an empty line. This is the format of the HTTP message format. And fourth one is an optional message body. This one is an optional field. It is not mandatory that message will be there. Only the request line is mandatory. Request line and other header field must end with, how does they end with? They should end with CR. This is the syntax actually. CRLF. It should end like that. That is a carriage return character followed by a line feed character. And no other white space is allowed. A request line containing only the path name is accepted by servers to maintain compatibility with HTTP clients before HTTP specification. HTTP defines methods which are sometimes referred to as verbs, but nowhere in the specification does it mention. It indicates desired actions to be generated dynamically, and it depends on the implementation of the server. Okay. And I have already explained get method, head method, post method, put method, delete method. So now there is one more method which is called trace method. What is that method? Trace method echoes the received request so that a client can see what changes or addition have been made by intermediate servers. Okay. So this is all about HTTP. Let me go back to the slide if there is anything more. That is all for today. Now, if there is any confusion, you can ask. Does anyone have any confusion?
Ma'am, kindly share the PPT to our WhatsApp group.
Yes, I will share. Give the video link. There is a video link. I generally provide the video link. I will again provide the video link. And one more thing, just I want to make an announcement. On maybe next week, there will be a virtual industrial virtual industrial visit. I will soon share it in the group. Your CR will take care of this. 25 names are required from the group. The virtual industrial visit will be conducted in Zoom. I think last time some students have gone for industrial visit. They attended industrial visit. So preference will be given to those students who have not gone at that time. names will be given to your CR. Get in touch with CR. I will write in official group also, so that other students who are not in the class, they get the information. If those students who have not earlier gone for industrial visit didn't give their names, then those who have gone will be considered, but first preference will be given to them. Is there any confusion? You need to ask something?
Ma'am, one more question actually. Ma'am, is there any information about our fourth semester exam?
Yes, you have not seen backlog and special supplementary exam, not about regular, I think. Backlog and special. There is a notice given by circulated in WhatsApp group. Go through that notice.
Ma'am,
Details are given if there is a backlog and all. I don't know. I have not seen it properly. I think it is for regular exams also. Examination fees is also there that you need to pay online. In the student portal, when you log in, you will find there's one option, I think, for fees payment. You will find it. Go through, enter in the login student portal and look carefully. You will find that option and submit your fees within time so as to avoid any problem. And one more, I will suggest all of you to keep checking markout websites. All of you, have you done registration with Coursera? Get registered in Coursera and try to finish the courses as per MOOC or Markout's notice. They are considered as MOOC course. Okay, so I am ending this meeting.